You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
We don't know what to do with real people in the studio. We have a studio guest today and a great story to share with you. If you're listening on Sunday mornings on KFUO, might have noticed a new church in the Sunday morning services at 10:30 on Sunday mornings. And we're excited to share with you Lord of Life Lutheran Church in Chesterfield, Missouri. And we have a friend from Lord of Life here today, and we're going to share her story with you in just a moment. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
Joining us in studio, Deaconess Sarah Longmire. She's preschool director at Lord of Life Lutheran Church and early childhood and
Children's
Ministry. I knew I would get the title messed up. I should make it right in my notes.
Don't worry.
So it's so nice to have you here. Thanks so much for being our guest today.
My pleasure.
So you've been at Lord of Life for just about 2 years now?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the path that led up to you coming to Lord of Life Lutheran Church. You've served in a variety of places.
I have, yeah. So I have an early childhood education degree as well as a deaconess degree from Concordia, Chicago.
Yeah.
What? And I've served in the mission field. I've served in a classroom. I've served a few different classrooms. But the opportunity to be in an administrative type of position, the opportunity to be an intentional integrator of church and preschool was just really interesting to me. And I felt like God had put that in front of me because that was the next place to go. And so, yes, I said yes, and here I am.
Talk a little bit more about that relationship between church and preschool, because that can be a real thing for churches that have that preschool attached to them.
Absolutely. So I have the joy and honor to have a foot in both camps. Mm-hmm. So I am the day-to-day preschool director, but I'm also the Sunday morning deaconess. And so that means I get to do children's ministry, which looks like Sunday school. I am actually tonight going to be taking a couple youth to higher things. So that means youth. I very intentionally get to connect families from preschool to church. So this past year, for example, we had 3 baptisms simply because I got to know moms and families, and I say, hey, have your kids baptized? Do you have a church? We had conversations, and we get to be on the joyful end of that in church. We've started programs like Family Sunday School to get everyone included. That includes preschool and church families. We do potlucks. Everyone loves food, right? So you get together over food. Mm-hmm. And we have such a joy in Chesterfield to have an international community. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of kiddos who are not from America originally. And so we just have this rich opportunity to connect globally and culturally and food, language, but they're kids at the end of the day. So we giggle and we play, and it's just a beautiful opportunity that I am very grateful for. So
tell us more about what the ministry of Lord of Life Lutheran Church in Chesterfield looks like.
Yes. So unequivocally, the church 110% supports our preschool. We are their mission, their arm into the community. And I truly feel like when you walk into Lord of Life, you feel at home, you feel included, you feel family. We have this warmth and this inclusion. And so this is an opportunity for the church to reach their neighbors. So we have fall festivals, we have trunk or treats, we have open houses, and we include preschool families and church families together. And it's just a beautiful thing to get to see that. So I have worked at amazing churches, amazing schools, but there's just something very unique about the way the congregation at Lord of Life fully supports the work of the preschool and sees it as such a mission opportunity. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How are you able to, you talked a little bit about this, but how are you able to bring in the diversity of the community into the preschool, into the church, into the Sunday morning activities?
Yeah. So honestly, a lot of the the families we have in preschool, they're word of mouth. So we do a great job with one family, and then 5 of their neighbors come, and that's just an opportunity that we get to grow and build. We laugh about it, but food is such a big deal. Everyone loves sharing their favorite thing. Everyone loves trying different food. So I will put on potlucks, and we get together, and I've had some of the best Indian food, let me just tell you, at a church potluck, because we can. We also intentionally, at least 3 times a year, have the preschool students sing in the congregation or in church on Sunday morning. So I've had Hindus, I've had Muslims, I've had non-Christians come to church hearing God's word because their kiddo wanted to come sing with his friends, and God's word promises it doesn't return empty. And so we just have these opportunities to include and invite. And then, it's almost as though I give the invitation, the families come, but then the congregation just loves them. And it's just those beautiful connections that are made. We also do something called prayer partners. So we have congregation members kind of adopt kiddos. And that's become such a fun thing to see, kind of like an adopted grandma or grandpa interact with their kids and learn, oh, he loves trains or she loves dinosaurs or the color pink. It's a beautiful opportunity for, again, those relationships. So
that is beautiful, just to see a congregation that is so welcoming to the community, wants to connect with and engage the community. And as you pointed out, inviting people from all kinds of backgrounds to come hear God's word, even including Sunday mornings, and how children are hearing God's word in the early childhood program as well.
Yes.
And bringing that word into their homes.
Yes. So that's very intentional too. We have Bible time, Jesus time every day. We go to chapel as a preschool every other week with Pastor Bilo. We sing songs. We're learning hymns.
Yes.
It's pretty great.
So, Lord of Life Lutheran Church is now a part of the Sunday morning lineup here on KFUO. You hear them on the Sundays through August. Yeah, we'll hear them at 10:30 here on KFUO. The live service is coming from Lord of Life. Share with us what we get to hear when we get to connect to and be a part of the services at Lord of Life Lutheran Church.
Okay, well, the first thing I have to highlight, and a big shout out to our organist, Jacob Palmer. He is, I think, 23, and he is he is an up-and-comer in Lutheran organ, playing, writing, everything. He has this way of painting the story of the hymns, like of the text, in a way that I have not felt before, and he's just off the cuff. So the beautiful thing about hymnody in Lutheranism is it's very law and gospel, right? So every line is telling the story of our salvation. And so when we're singing about sin and death and temptation, the music will make you feel that way. He'll go minor, he'll go dark, and it's just a beautiful way to kind of refocus. Not that I ever, have my thoughts go astray, but if that would ever happen, it's a beautiful way of like, oh, the music changed. What's going on? So I think and I hope that the listeners can feel that, because that music is not something you have to see. It's just you hear and I'd also say that Lord of Life, when what you're hearing is comfortable Lutheranism. It's law, it's gospel, it's the confession and the absolution. It's a beautiful sermon. Pastor Bilo did not pay me to say that. It's a beautiful sermon of God's word. We're praying together, we're singing together, and I think a lot of it though starts with that music. Such a gift.
We do love hymnody around here.
Oh, yes. Listen, I taught hymns to my kindergarten students.
Yes.
I like to teach hymns at preschool. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. How does listening to a service like this on KFUO, how does that kind of fit into the daily life of a Lutheran? Most of us have churches that we go to on a regular basis. We have our home churches, but what does this kind of broadcast add to that the daily rhythm of our lives as Christians?
Yeah, this is something that actually, if we want to start thinking about gifts from the COVID situation, is the opportunities that we as Christians have to tune in to other services, to hear other messages, to hear other musicians. It's a gift. And anytime we're hearing more of God's word, that can't be wrong, right? I mean, thanks be to God that we can hear a text taught a different way or a hymn played a different way. And I think the gift about having it on a radio or in a podcast is it's accessible. So as a church worker, of course, I attend Lord of Life, but if I want to, I can tune in and listen to a different church service and not have to travel there or worry that I'm cheating on my congregation. That kind of thing, right? Like it's an opportunity to hear the gifts of other people in our church as a whole. Mm-hmm. So.
And what a blessing for so many shut-ins. I know there are so many shut-ins that enjoy the services on Sunday mornings on KFUO. And so we're very thankful for the partnership with Lord of Life and getting to share the wonderful services from Lord of Life with our listeners.
Absolutely.
For those in the St. Louis area who might not be familiar with Lord of Life Lutheran Church, how do we find Lord of Life in Chesterfield?
We are on a very important and big corner, so it's hard to miss us. We are on the corner of Clarkson and Baxter Roads, across from the Chesterfield Deerbergs. Mm-hmm. We have a beautiful plot of land that the church has maintained beautifully and has been protective of because, again, they see the preschool as being such a gift, and so we can go on bear hunts. We've never found any, don't worry. But nature hunts, we pick leaves. We had a snowball fight last winter. Of course, I was hit multiple times. That's fine. But the point is, we're on a beautiful piece of property. The church itself is gorgeous. The organ, again, Jacob will tell you all day about the organ. So it's a beautiful place, and we'd love to have you come by.
So Clarkson and Baxter and Chesterfield, right? It's just not too far from the Interstate 64 as
Correct.
well, Highway 40, depending on how long you've lived in St. Louis. It's I-64 or Highway 40. But just a little bit south of that off of Clarkson there. Mm-hmm. And hopefully, I know annually, most years there's typically an event around Christmas as well during Advent. Hopefully, maybe we'll get to hear that again as well coming up this year. Maybe Return to Bethlehem.
Ooh,
hopefully come back. So we got to cover that story a few years ago here on KFUO. And we know last year changed everything for everyone. So,
indeed.
Deaconess Sarah Longmire. Oh, one more thing. Where can we find Lord of Life on the web?
Oh, yeah. LOLSTL.org. I mean, without the haha in the middle. So LOLSTL.org is our website.
Very good.
So great.
Lord of Life Lutheran Church in Chesterfield, Missouri. Thank you so much for being our guest today on the Coffee Hour and for partnering with KFUO to share the good news on Sunday mornings.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.